All right, cool. So did you get the GitHub link?
Yep.
All right, awesome. Go ahead and pull that repo, and we will get started. Let me go ahead here, refresh the screen. So like I said, today we're going to focus on, you already have Python installed, so we're going to do the Python interpreter and working with some basic scripts and interacting with the Python interpreter. And we're going to focus on numbers. And then depending on how far we get, we'll move to strings and then lists, etc., etc. So let me know when you have that.
Yeah, so let me, should I share my screen?
Yeah. Go ahead, share your screen.
Cool. All right. So I'm in GitHub.
All right, so hit the clone. To the right, the green button, clone or download to the right.
Oh, yeah, got it.
And just hit that copy. The clipboard to the right.
Got it.
All right, now head over to your terminal.
Where do I go there? I don't know.
Your toolbar. Go down to your taskbar. You should have it, unless you moved it. Yeah, it's the right next to Atom.
Right here? Oh, you're talking about terminal. My
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. My bad. Cool.
All right, and just wherever you want. Yeah, that's fine. Just git clone and then paste in that link. GIT. Sorry. And yep. All right, awesome. So, you never used Git before either?
I use it occasionally. I know I branched off some of the code that we used for our particular project, but nothing outside of that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So change directories into that Python tutorial directory.
I don't even know the command for
CD.
Sorry, CD. What?
PY. CD space PY and then hit tab. There you go. Auto fills it in and then hit enter. So that's CD stands for change directory, and it's CD insert whatever the directory path is.
Okay.
All right, so do ls, and that lists all the files. And right now we only have one file in there, nano.py. Now from this point on, you can switch over to Atom if you want to do the coding.
I want to get comfortable with terminal.
Okay, cool. All right, so before we open up the numbers.py, we're going to invoke the Python terminal. So type in Python and the number 3 and then hit enter. You're missing an H.
All right.
No, yeah, it's PYTHON.
Man, I suck at spelling.
Yeah, I do the same thing. It's taking a while.
Or is another? There it is. Yeah,
okay, cool. All right. Now, in here you can do your basic commands. So like type in the word print, and then open parenthesis, and then single quotation mark. Or it doesn't matter honestly, as long as it's consistent. Single or double will work. Hello world, and then yep, and then hit enter. That's funny. All right. Yeah, and then just hit enter.
Okay.
All right, and so you can invoke the basically what I'm demonstrating. You can invoke the basic imported system Python functions. So you can create lists. You can write a whole function in the interpreter if you want to. Although it's not practical, it's very good to test like shorthand functions. So, for example, if you can import what's something. Yeah, that's too much. We'll get to it later. But long story short, this is the basic interpreter, so you can do anything in here. But if you wanted to run a script, like for example the numbers.py script that was in there, you would, instead of just typing Python 3, you would type in Python 3 space and then the name of the file, and then
it'll bring up the file along with under the Python 3 format, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to exit the Python terminal, type in the word exit and open close parentheses. That calls the exit function, and hit enter and you're out. So let's open up the numbers.py.
So we'll do that. C.
No, you can do nano, N-A-N-O, space, numbers, and you can just auto correct. Yeah, auto fill with the tab. Yep, and hit enter. All right, you want to make that full screen?
Sure.
So instead of baby stepping in, I just went ahead and put a lot of stuff into one, so we can just go over everything in a lightning fashion. So so basically what you see right here, I've defined 5 mathematical functions. So I have the add function, subtract function, divide function, multiply function, and the modulo division function. Yeah. I've only implemented the add function to show, so I can explain that, and then basically what I want you to do is fill out the rest of the functions. Yeah. So the first thing I want to notice is syntax. So in Python, and you're familiar with what functions are and stuff like that. Okay,
it's been a while, so you have to refresh my memory. But I understand.
All right, so
functions are like a formula, basically, correct?
Right. So instead of writing out the whole quadratic formula, you have the symbol that you put in there, and so same logic. So instead of writing out that add logic every time I need to do it, I just I package it up into an add function and then just call add whenever I need to.
Nice.
So if you want to define a new function, you use the def keyword, and that tells Python you're defining something, in this case a function. So the name of the function and then whatever its arguments are. In this case, it doesn't take any arguments when you call it. And then you put a colon. And instead of using semicolons like other languages do to denote when you're done with a line of code, Python uses indentations. So if you notice, all the everything underneath add is indented one space, and it's all in the same column.
Yeah.
So that means everything is in the same scope, which is underneath the scope of add. Okay, so they all share the same scope because they all share the same indentation. Okay, does that make sense? Do I need to explain that some more? Okay. Yeah. So the first thing I do is I'm printing out to the Python interpreter. I'm printing out add 2 numbers. So just like I showed hello world when you did, it's going to say add 2 numbers.
Right.
And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to initialize a variable. So a variable, just like in algebra you saw for x. It's the same concept. A variable holds some data that you can reuse within that same scope. So we want to grab 2 numbers. So the first, and so both these numbers we're going to grab from the keyboard input, okay? Because this is going to be a terminal program. All right.
Okay.
So we have num1 and we have num2. We want the first thing you see is this int word, this int keyword, the int function. That's going to what's called typecast whatever is inside of it into an integer, because we need to work with integers with this function. So by default, it takes it in as a string. As you type it in on the keyboard, it's going to take that string, convert that string into a number, to an integer to be exact. We could technically have it be a decimal or what have you, but just for the sake of simplicity, we're just going to do integers. And so there's another built-in function called input. And input takes in the keyboard input from the Python interpreter. Okay. And then its only argument that it takes is the text that it displays to the interpreter before you start taking in text. So enter first number, they type in the number, it converts it to it converts it into an integer, and then it saves that integer into a variable called num1. Okay?
So you can pull num1 when you want that number back.
Exactly. Do the same thing for num2. And then we have a third variable called ans, short for answer, that we set that equal to num1 plus num2. And then we print out to the terminal the answer is, and because the answer is an integer, you have to convert that to a string because you're printing out a string. Yeah. So we call the str function. So basically all the data types have that principle. So you have strings, you have integers, you have decimals, you have floats, and you can typecast to any arbitrary object, but we'll get to that at a later point. But so for this part, we're converting that integer back into a string, and then we're just returning that answer. We're not doing anything with that returned answer, but in many cases, you call a function and you're doing something with the return data. It doesn't have to return data, but in a lot of cases, they do return data, whether it's a case of a true, false, an integer, a string, etc., etc. So ignore the other functions right now and just go to the bottom, and you see that we're calling that add function. Okay, so that is what the Python interpreter is actually going to call when we run the code. So when you define all the functions, that tells the Python interpreter what functions are associated with that program. But but until you actually call the function, was what we're doing on the last line. We're calling the function. It doesn't do anything. So we're defining it and then we're calling it. So at the very end, it's going to just call this add function. All right. So we expect it to print out add two numbers, and then it's going to ask us to enter the first number, enter the second number, return the number, and that should be it. So go ahead and exit out. And in order to exit out, you see those commands at the bottom. It has the carets or whatever. So you're going to have to hit that. That means hit control and then the letter. So control X. All right. We'll get you out. There you go. All right. Now type in the word clear, and it'll clear your screen. So you can, there you go. Now type in Python 3 space and numbers.py. Numbers.
I learned off the rip. It counts. Yeah. There we go. So we're calling the function now.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
All right. So do you understand how it went through? Really simple, right? Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah. Now let's open that numbers.py back up. And you got to type in the nano function.
Okay. Was it numbers?
Mm-hmm. Cool. Now let's go ahead and let's see. I'm gonna step back and see if you can implement the subtract function.
All right.
And copy and paste doesn't work in here. Yeah, so
I was even gonna try. That's fine. And
yes, that's that's a comment. That's how you do.
That's what I was about to say.
Okay.
That's what I was about to say. So it ignores that, right?
Yeah, the interpreter ignores comments. Correct. So.
I have my own notes there. Cool. All right.
Oh no, you did it right. My bad. Right.
It doesn't matter if I use double colon or
no, it
semicolon.
just has to be consistent. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wait. This is the tricky part. Plus string. Yeah, I'm gonna put plus. Return.
All right, cool. Now hit Control X and save the file. Hit Y for yes, and just hit enter. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Open it back up. Numbers. Here's a shortcut. Hit the up arrow. All right, there you go. Now, go to the very bottom and add and call that function. Call the sub function. Otherwise, it's not going to run.
How do I do that?
At the very bottom. Yep, below add.
Call function.
Like do the same. Like follow the same pattern that you're seeing for add, but call sub.
I don't follow.
So
put sub underneath add?
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, this is the function that I just the program.
Yeah, right. And that's gonna so you're gonna call the add function and then it's gonna call the sub function.
Got it.
All right.
Now
Control X.
Y. And enter.
Cool. Now call Python 3 numbers. Hit up 2 times. Yep.
There. There you go.
There you go. That's first function. All right. So yeah, we can go through and finish that. So I'll leave those last 3. Do you understand what modulo division is? That might be.
No, I don't.
So modulo division is when you return the remainder.
Mm-hmm.
So
I would not have programmed that.
So it's the percent sign. The percent sign is modulo division. So it would just be num1 percent sign 1 2. So for example, 7 divided by 3 is 2 remainder 1.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, 2 under 1.
So 7 mod 3 is 1.
Oh, okay. So whatever the remainder is, it
Right.
just brings it up. Right.
So, for example, where is this useful? If you make a dice game, right? You want a modulo 6 plus 1, right? Because it's a 6-sided dice.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to emulate in a video game, luck in a video game, if a character misses an attack or something, that's modulo division. That's determining if you had like a critical or a miss or.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Okay.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah. All
right.
Okay. I guess that'll be my homework then. Is that what you want me to do later, or
for those functions, implement those 3 functions? Do you understand how functions work? You understand how to define them. You understand how to call them. All right. Now here's the next thing I want to go through: control structures. Right. So if loop, if then loop.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So this is logic. So we're going to change this program. Instead of calling linearly add or subtract every time, okay? We are going to create a while loop, and we're going to create what's called an infinite loop. So this loop is just going to run and run and run and run forever until we stop the program, okay? We want to give the user, and when they start this program, an option. They choose a number. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right now there's 5 functions, but there's only 2 functions implemented. So we're going to give them 3 options, okay? If they hit number 1, it adds numbers. If they hit number 2, it subtracts numbers. If they hit number 3, it quits the program. Okay? So you already know how to quit a program because you did it. You have to do it in order to exit the Python terminal. Is the exit program, right? Yep. So here's how it's gonna go. We're gonna have a while loop, and that while is gonna always run continuously. The best way to do that is just to do like while true or while 1. Just while with nothing attached. And then it's the same thing, just like how you define this is how you define a function. You put the colon, and then after you put the colon, there's indentation. Every time you see a colon, that's when there's you indent, okay? So you're going to have a while loop. You're going to put the colon. Then you're going to indent. Everything underneath that colon is inside that while loop, okay? So you know how to get the input from the user, all right? So the first thing you're going to do is get the input and ask them to choose a number 1 through 3. All right.
So do I need to start that right now?
You're going to the first thing you need to do is get rid of add and subtract. And I want you to type in the word while, and that's a key. No, a lowercase w, but case matters. Do an open parentheses, and then you're going to type in the word true. Now, true has to be a capital T. True and false are Boolean types, and so they're either true or false, and they're uppercase. Close parentheses and do a colon. All right, now space and do your indent. You're not going to print. You're going to creative. What do you think you should do? What do you think?
Well, I thought we would have to print. We have to ask for a number, right? So.
And you're going to have to store that number and then make a decision based on that number.
Right. So if and then.
Well, we'll do, right. We're not even to the if and then part. We're just right now, you need to get the number and store the number.
Okay. So we'll have to ask a question first though, right? So maybe I should put print.
You don't need a print. I did print just as a formality to show you because what the function below print and your definitions implicitly calls print.
Okay, so then, how will we do that?
Look at the pattern. I'm not changing the pattern of what we did before. So how did we get and store the numbers before?
Well, we numbered them, right? So we went number 1.
Yeah,
right?
I wouldn't call it number 1. I would call it like option or OPT, something of that nature.
Okay, option 1.
It can just be option. You don't have to add the number 1 because there's only one option that's going to be picked.
Okay.
Okay.
And then yeah. Enter a number.
I would say pick an option or something because you're about to ask number. You're going to be asking number over and over and over for your function calls.
Okay. Pick an option.
All right.
And then close it.
Okay. All right. So now the user has picked an option. I would say pick an option 1 through 3.
Okay. That dash doesn't throw it off or anything? Oh no, because it's within the colon, right? I mean the semicolon.
Right.
I mean the quotations, whatever. Yep. Cool. All right.
Actually, you know what? I'm sorry, I misled you. Before you do the option above it, you do want to print your options actually. So you're gonna want 3 print statements with each. Right. Yeah.
You see, like I needed that, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, print.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
I think my hands are so big, though.
Yeah, I do it all the time too, man.
All right. So what? Pick an option. Wait a minute. Pick an option, right?
No. Well, you've already asked them to pick an option. Before you ask them to pick an option, you want to give them the options to pick. So you want to print out what option 1 is, what option 2 is, what option 3 is.
Oh man, you got me thinking.
Don't overthink it. It's not. Okay. So when you call the print function, it does 1 line at a time, right? So
yeah.
They only have 3 options. If they hit option 1, then it does add 2 numbers. If they hit number 2, subtract 2 numbers. If they hit the number 3, exit the program.
Let me lowercase this. I can uppercase this. Option 1. Add a number.
Yeah, maybe I would put a dash after the number 1 or something.
Okay. Yeah, something to identify.
Yeah.
All right.
Add 2 numbers. I'm sorry.
And close that up. And wait a minute. This is coming together. Hang on. I'm thinking. So option 1, add 2 numbers, and then you would input. So we can go to the next line.
Yeah, go to the next line. But right now, you're just showing them the information. You're not doing anything with that option yet. Just show them what their options are.
Okay, so now I can.
You need to show all 3 options before you actually set the option. So you've done 1 of the 3. You need to add 2 more print statements.
Okay.
But before the option, you gotta show all 3.
So how about print option 2. Subtract 2 numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I got all kinds of stuff going on in the back.
It's all good.
Yeah.
And then the last option.
Yeah. Option 3. We're going into a loop, right? At this one. So nothing, right?
Exit.
Do nothing.
Exit.
Exit. Yeah, that's right. That's it. All right. Bingo. Cool.
All right. Now, before we go any further, go ahead and save and exit this, and then run the program.
All right. Was that it?
Yep.
Yep. Ah, look at that.
All right.
Cool.
Cool.
But it won't do it.
Yeah, like hit 1 and hit enter. It's just an infinite loop. Yeah, so it's gonna do it. All right, so hit. You're gonna have to hit Control C. Control C.
Hang on 1 second. I gotta call. This is my agent. He's an emergency. He wants me to call him about which kind of get a house.
All right, I'll go ahead.
Pause real quick.
Yeah, go ahead and pause.
Okay.
And then I'll
like 5 minutes. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, thanks. Sorry about that. I couldn't even get a hold of him. He's in like panic mode now because we're losing this deal on this house we're trying to bid on. But I try to follow his lead, man. Sometimes you just gotta go to your gut sometimes.
Oh, all right, you back?
Yeah, man.
All right, cool. So go ahead and hit Control C, and that'll send a signal interrupt and cancel. There you go.
Oh, that's how you interrupt it.
Keyboard interrupt, rather. Okay, so go back. Yep. All right, so now we have the option. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So now what we want to do is basically there's 3 options. We want to do if option if option is equal to 1, if do this, if option is equal to 2, do that, if option is equal to 3, do this. So before we write the if function, what do you think the if statement, what do you think is going to look like?
Sorry, man.
It's all good.
So we still good, basically? This is not a walkway. This is a combination to the primary and okay, so well, I'll put it in your kit plan. I'll run it with okay. All right. Thanks, Church. Appreciate it. Yeah. All right. I would have known. Thanks, Chip. Appreciate it. All right. Yo, don't ever buy a house out here in California.
Man, I learned that lesson when I tried to do it the first time.
Problem is, people from the goddamn Bay come here with pockets of cash.
Yeah.
And buy a property before you can even get to it.
And then Airbnb it. Now you look, dude. You don't even gotta tell me. You don't even gotta tell me. That's part of the reason why we moved back. You ain't even gotta tell me.
Ridiculous. It's like the third time this has happened. I get to a property.
Man.
I take the time. I go through comps. I make sure everything is legit. I tell them to do a FHA. I come with a decent amount of money. It's nothing spectacular because I'm not balling like that because it's a duplex. I just want one place where me and my wife can stay and rent out the other spot. And then the night before we show up, some random investors comes in and drops a bucket load of money, more than what they're even asking for.
Yeah.
And they close the deal. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. That happened to us on more than one occasion. My friend, what he ended up doing is they ended up buying property in Vegas and other areas like that, and because it was easier to get property and stuff out there.
But my thing is this, Jerome, because we live out in California, like in San
I was gonna say my friend, he lives in Berkeley, and that's what we ran into the same problem because they wanted to start off by doing a duplex in Berkeley. and renting out one side and another, but they ran into the same issue. So what they end up doing is renting out multiple places out of the state, and now they're able to get yeah. But you know that takes like a 3 to 5 year detour. So
yeah, it's just so frustrating.
Yeah, man.
People from the Bay and the Silicon Valley, because I mean, I make decent money too, but dang, like I'm not gonna plunk down 300-400K and just not even look at the property and just buy it outright without even doing a survey. God, these people are crazy out here, man.
Yeah, you're in Sacramento.
Yeah.
You think about looking up a little. How north are you willing to live?
I mean, I don't want to move too far away from Intel, dude. I'm already 30 minutes out. I don't want to stay in Folsom. Folsom's like a small town where everybody knows your name, and I don't want that.
Yeah. I'm not particularly fond of Folsom.
Yeah, I'm not trying to, it's bad enough I have to work with these people all the time. I don't want to just every day in, day out, I see them. Like, no. There's a limit to how much I want.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I agree with y'all, but
it's crazy, and they always want to talk about regulation. They need to regulate the foreign investment.
I know that's the problem too. A lot of people from Asia are just buying.
They're just buying it. Like I read an article. I think I shared it. They're buying condemned buildings in the city for $1 million. They're condemned.
That's a goddamn shame.
Oh my god! jaw just hit the floor. I'm like, what the hell? Anyway, let's get to coding so we can get rich and we can dump some money. All right, so you're gonna need 3 different options, and the if structure is similar to the while structure. You don't need parentheses though.
Okay.
So when you do a comparison, when you set a value, you use the equal function. Okay, like how you're doing with option. When you want to compare to see if option is equal to something, you do equals. There's 2 equal signs followed by each other.
Oh.
So you're going to do if option equals, and then you're going to do 1, 2, 3.
Hang on. So it should come after the option though, right?
Correct. Because otherwise you have nothing to compare it with.
All right. So if.
No, lowercase.
And equals.
No. Well, what equals?
We haven't defined the integers, right?
No, the integer's been defined because the integer's been.
No. Yeah, you would pick 1 through 3, right?
Right.
If 1, right?
I mean, you could do that. You can do it either way, but the simple way is to do if option. If the value that you're comparing is equal to some value, you're comparing option to 1, 2, or 3.
Okay, so if option equals.
Mm-hmm. And what's the first op? Yep. All right. Yep. You had it right. Now you want to do a colon after the 1.
Oh, sorry.
Now what do? You put a colon, so
hang on. Oh, I have to indent.
All right, next line. What I would do, at this point I would open up an Atom, because Atom does the indentation for you. And no one really no one. I mean, it's cool to learn, but in practice, you're going to be using Atom.
No, that's fine.
Because honestly, I don't know how to count off. without me using the space, the arrow keys, off looking, I can't tell if you're indented correctly or not.
Oh, okay. That's what you're saying. I may be off here.
You need to do. I mean, you definitely need to do another indent. Oh, yep, you sure were. See, yep, perfect example. I would just switch to Adam.
Oh. It's like, hey man, don't waste your damn time, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So, then how we go to Adam? Do we just
just hit Control X, exit out of there, save it, and then I noticed Adam was next to terminal on your toolbar.
Yeah. So Adam, open a project.
Yep.
Would it be under recent?
It would be under your home
or desktop.
No. Hit go up to go at the top. At the very top.
Yeah.
Right here? At the menu top. At the very.
Gotcha.
No. Where next to where it says File, Edit, View, Go, hit the Go tab. All right. Well, now you're out of scope. You're in Atom now.
So wait a minute. I'm confused now.
Click.
Where do I need?
Click. Right. No. Go back to the Finder, bro. You're in Atom. Go back to the Finder.
Gotcha.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I was confusing you. I'm sorry. Go back to Adam. I'm sorry. That was my fault. My fault, fam. But still, you were supposed. But I was trying to get you to hit the go. Yeah, hit Open Project. All right. Now up at the very top, where the Apple icon is in the left-hand corner of your screen.
Gotcha.
Okay, so it took you out of there. Okay, go back to the Finder. You need to go to your home screen. Your home. No. Go back to Adam. Your Finder is right there. That's your Finder.
Okay, so
no, don't hit cancel. Go hit the drop down. Go Victor. Hit Victor Yakipopo. There you go. All right. Whew, Python tutorial right there in the lower right hand corner. Trying to numbers.py. Trying to describe stuff. I'm such a hands-on person. I
noticed.
I'm like,
this is actually good for you and me. It makes you better with it helps you learn. Okay.
All right, now go down to line 32.
Yep.
Now hit the tab. Wait. Yeah. Indent. There you go. It auto indents for you. Boom. Okay. All right. So if option is equal to 1, what do you want to do?
Damn it. Option equal 1. Then you want to start the add your function again.
Yep. So call your add function.
All right. Oh, how do I do that? Is that add?
Yep.
Open and close.
Yep. Perfect. All right. Now go to get out, break out of that loop. So you're gonna space and then back out, or not space. Enter. Go out of the indentation. Right there, and do ELIF. Or else, my bad, do else if. Else space if. So by the keyword else keeps it inside of the same logical chain.
Gotcha.
So if else. Otherwise, if you just did if, those are separate. Yeah. And you want them to be connected. Cool. So else if option is equal to 2. No, well, what is equals to 2? You just did it. with the first option. You didn't put the word option. You just put equals equals to. You didn't put the word option.
Oh, okay. So option equals to.
Correct. Yep. Correct.
And now enter.
Mm-hmm. It should auto indent. Yep.
Yep. And then call the add function again.
Well, you're not going to be adding.
Oh, you subtracted. I got it. Okay, come together, boy. Oh, wow, programming though, it makes you think, yo.
Yeah, now you understand why. Never mind, I'm recording. All right, all right. Now you're gonna have one more else if. And what's it gonna be? No, you know what? Yeah. One more else if.
Wow, what is this doing wrong?
Yeah. Hit Control Z or hit Command Z. There you
go. Option 3.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, too many spaces.
And how do you exit a function? How do you exit a program function?
Was it Control X or something?
Remember in the Python interpreter?
No, it's Python 3. What was that?
It was. Just guess. It's really simple. It's what you think it would be. What you think?
Exit?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the exit function.
Exit
function. Yep. You had it. Yep. All right. Now, tidbit. Now, as your program stands right now, if they press anything else, then the program's just going to continue running.
Yeah.
That's fine if you want it to just continue running. But if you wanted it to like print, for example, not a valid input.
Oh yeah.
So if you want to close this entire if-else statement, you don't have to include a final else. But if you do include a final else, it kind of like ties it all together. So you have your initial if and your final else. So do one more else, but don't do an if, just an else.
Okay.
You gotta get out of the yep.
Yeah. That's right.
Just a final else with a colon. There you go. Yep. Go to the next line and tell the user that they put an invalid input.
Right.
All right, now save that.
Is that Control X?
S. Command S.
Oh. Command S.
Mm-hmm. All right, now go to the terminal.
Oh, okay. And then run it. What is it now? No, it's not.
No. Yeah, where's your terminal at? I don't see it.
You don't see my terminal?
Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Why is it so skinny?
Mm-hmm. Maybe something on your end?
Switch screens and switch back real quick. That's really weird. All right, switch back. Okay, there it goes. All right, it's Python 3 numbers.py.
Oh, I messed up somewhere.
Oh, my bad. It is elif. It's ELIF when you shorthand it.
Hang on. So 32.
32 and 35.
Okay.
Or 33 and 35. 33. Instead of else if, it should be it should be elif. So get rid of the SE space. There you go. Yep. And that's just a shorthand. I think you can do else no space if. I don't know. I do so many different languages and they all are different. Yeah.
We know.
All right. All right, switch back.
All
right, hit the up button, and there you go.
Bing.
All right, so just go down the list. Yep.
Yeah. All right. 1, 2, 3, 2. Nice.
Now hit 4. Don't hit 3 yet. Let 3 be the last one you do. Just do some arbitrary. Invalid input.
Nice. All right, let's do 3. It just exited.
Yeah.
That is so tight. And we call functions from a previous program we created. That's badass.
Right.
Yeah.
So, so your homework is to implement the divide, multiply, and the modulo function, and then add those options in.
To this one? To
this,
this
yes.
Program? Okay.
And then I want you to issue. Do you know how to issue pull requests?
No.
Do you have a GitHub account though, right?
Yep.
All right. Head over to GitHub real quick. And did you fork? Did you fork this?
I forgot how I did it though.
Yeah, sign in, and go ahead and fork that. Up at the top right hand.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Fork it.
Yep, fork it. All right, now hit that clone and download button and copy. Hit the clipboard. Actually, do you have SSH set up on here? Do you have your SSH keys on there?
No, I need to.
Yeah, you need to. All right. Okay, go back to terminal. And I want you to type in get remote. GIT.
Oh, I keep forgetting.
GIT space. Space RM. And that stands for get remote remove. We're going to remove the remote that was pointing to mine and have it point to yours. So we can push the changes up to yours. And then you're going to do a pull request on the mine. So we have the...
Sorry, people are trying to call me.
Yeah, we're about to wrap up in like last 5 minutes.
Sorry, you're just gonna have to edit that out at some point.
It's all good. Yeah, so get remote remove and then space origin, because that was the name of the original remote. So hit enter. And type in get space remote space add origin, and then paste in that link that you just copied.
Add origin?
Yeah. No. Get remove. All right. Yes. Add.
Now paste this or add and
space
paste the link.
Origin. So we removed the origin and we're adding it back with a new link.
Okay.
All right. Now space and then paste it in.
Edit or just paste it?
Paste it.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Now hit enter. Now type in get space commit space dash one hyphen lowercase a lowercase m, and this stands for commit all, and then you're going to add a message, okay, because all commits have to have a message. Space double quotations and then put in a commit message. Whatever, and the message is what what you did with this particular commit. So give it a message, and don't forget to end it with double quotes.
Created first program. How about that?
Sure. Yep.
Enter.
And then your username or configure. I'll make it based on. Okay, that's fine. You can change that later. You can read that. Basically, when you each commit, you attach it to like your email or something to identify you, and if you don't, it takes it based off your host name information. You can always change all that later. All right, and then type in git space push, and this is gonna push your commits to the remote server.
Gotcha.
And just hit enter. Go ahead and copy that command because it looks like you have the old version of git, so it doesn't do the auto setup. So that command is gonna set it up so that it knows to push the origin. So, all right, yep.
Enter.
Yep. All right, and then you got to do your username.
Was that my email or something?
Whatever your GitHub. I think your username is just Apollo TX 2000. You can just use your username. I don't think you have to put in your full email, and then whatever your password was.
Jeez, man. I don't remember.
You don't remember? Okay, here. Better yet.
I think I might have it.
Yeah.
That was it, right?
Yep. All right. Awesome. All right. You need to switch over to SSH so you don't have to do the passwords.
Okay. I'm not doing that.
Well, that's a good offline exercise for you to read up on that. It's all simple, step by step.
So my homework assignment again was to add the other two functions.
It's 3 functions. It was 3 functions, and then edit. You're gonna have to edit your while loop. Also, actually, and also I want you to take that while loop and change it into a function.
Oh boy. Change while loop into a function.
So basically your program is only going to be one function that shows the menu, and inside that has everything else.
I have all these options in it. All right, cool.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
So head over to GitHub one more time.
Sure.
And hit refresh. Now do a pull request. Right. Oh, right. No.
Oh, go back. My bad.
Yeah. Down underneath where it says clone and download.
Oh, okay. I see it.
It says that this branch is one commit ahead of Master Shake 08. It's master. So this is how you're able to submit your code to another. So when you fork off somebody, you can submit your changes upstream to who you forked from.
Got it. That's kind of cool.
All right. So then you do go up, and yeah, it shows you all the changes and the additions, deletions, etc., etc. So hit create pull request, and then you can leave a comment if you want to. Otherwise, you can just hit create pull request.
Cool.
All right, cool. Great pull request. Yep. All right, cool. So now I'm going to head over to my repository, and I now have a pull request. And
nice.
I'm going to merge, confirm, and there we go.
Oh, there it is. It's merged. I've seen it. That's nice.
Yep.
That's so, yeah.
Now go back. Cool. Go back to where it says code. Yep. And copy the clone URL one more time. The green button. Now go back to the terminal, and we're going to add another remote, but we're going to call this one upstream. And you're going to set the upstream equal to my URL. All right. So type in get remote add, and then you're going to call it upstream. And then you're going to paste in my my thing. All right.
Enter.
Yep. So now what you can do is whenever I push new code, you can do, so how you did a get push, you can do a get pull, which pulls from the server. So when you want to get my latest changes, and this is what the whole get flow is, how to keep everything separated and not commingled and whatnot. So you have the master set to your branch, which is forked off my code. Whenever I do new changes, you're going to do a get pull upstream, and it's going to pull the upstream changes into your end.
Right. That's why you could probably send me assignments that way, right?
Yes, exactly how I'm going to do it. So before each session, I'll have a new Python file, and we'll basically do the same rotation. I'll do an example, then I'll walk you through it enough to get understanding. Your homework will be to finish it.
Awesome. Cool. Man, appreciate this, Jerome.
All right. Do you have any questions?
I got a lot on my plate already. I got to figure out to go back and do a lot of this stuff again. But it's cool. I'm enjoying it, man. And if I have questions, I'll ping you or something.
All right. Cool. So do you want to do this on Monday and Wednesdays?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah, cool. All right, I gotta go through and edit 10 minutes of you talking, get up and talking on the phone. I do put some SpongeBob music on there or something.
All right, man.
All right.
Appreciate it, dude.
No problem. Talk to you later.
Yep.